What's up, you guys, and welcome back to episode number 19 of my poker vlog. This is a special episode. This is the conclusion of the 3 poker tournaments that I played a weekend ago at Agua Caliente. The first one we cashed, the second one we did not cash. So we're just going to jump straight into some hands right away to see if we can cash in this third tournament here. As always, please like the video. If you're a 49ers fan, subscribe. I'm not. I'm wearing the hat in support of you guys. It was a tough loss a couple days ago. The Chiefs deserve it. The 49ers fans. What more could you ask for? You're up by 10 with a couple minutes left, and they end up scoring like 3 touchdowns on you guys. So that's just on your defense right there. That's your bread and butter. You got to have that. Real quickly, the 49ers fans, you didn't take all the L's yesterday. I'm just going to throw it out there right now. The Chiefs fans, what the heck is going on with Patrick Mahomes' brother? That is a fat L. You guys took the L in that department. You got the MVP over here throwing touchdowns. He's got a very attractive fiance, and then bam, he's got that kind of a brother. I mean, what's going on here? Okay, I don't need to say too much. The kid roasts himself, so let's just go right into some hands here. Got 16K in the starting stack. The first hand that we got, we turned a king high flush against a flop 2 pair and got a full double up, so that was pretty cool. We were up to 35K. We got pocket 10s and we got 2 streets of value against a non-believing ace king. So already in the first couple orbits, we've worked our way from 16K all the way up to 47K, where we pick up this first hand. With 47K in the stack at the 300-600 blind levels, we looked down at pocket kings from middle position. We got a shove from an early middle position player, and that comes in around 8,300. I flat because even though a flat doesn't look weak, I want it to look as weak as possible. I think a re-raise here probably looks stronger. I want someone else to come over the top or just come along in the early goings here. I have pocket kings. That's going to crush pretty much any other hand combination other than aces, obviously. We put in the flat here, and the big blind also calls. Going heads up to the flop with 1 additional person all in. The flop with 25K in it comes 10 of clubs, 8 of spades, 6 of diamonds. I shove for his effective 5,300, which is pretty standard, I think. He calls with ace queen of diamonds, so he has nothing at the moment, some backdoor possibilities, but we're in pretty good shape right here. The turn with 25K in the main and 10.5 in the side comes the ace of spades. That's one of his 3 ace outs that gets there. Pretty unfortunate for us. We're going to need help on the river, which does not come because it's a 3 of diamonds, and we lose both pots when the all-in shows pocket 10s. So I guess, you know, we had the best hand going into it and we come away with the worst hand. That's just sometimes how poker goes. We make it to the first break with 35K in our stack. Pretty happy about that. It's double starting. Can't complain about that. We do the $20 add-on, optional, but it's basically mandatory considering you get 16K starting chips, but the $20 add-on gives you 25K chips. Have to do it. So we do it, and we're up to 60K. We lose a couple pots where we just raise pre-flop, c-bet, or we just didn't connect. We find ourselves in the second hand around 34K. The 1K, 2K blind level, we look down at ace-5 of diamonds from the under the gun position. I limp, the early middle position player raises to 6K, middle position player calls, and I call. We're going to the flop 3 ways here with 21K in the pot, which comes 7 of diamonds, 8 of diamonds, 8 of hearts. Obviously a pretty good flop for us. We have the front door flush draw as well as some backdoor straight possibilities. I check, the middle position raiser now bets 15K into 21K. I jam a little bit more for 28K. I think I'm gonna go with this hand regardless, and I'm just gonna shove it in here and maybe have a little bit of fold equity, even though I don't really expect him to fold all that often. So I just put the 28K in here because I want to see all 5 cards here. He goes into the tank, which I think is surprising, which is a reason why we should be shoving here. If there's any possibility that he can fold a made hand when we have a draw, I think that's a good situation. So he's in the tank here, and he ends up putting in the call, which I think is fine. He shows pocket 6s, so if we get that hand to fold, I mean, that's not a bad situation either, but now we're gonna have to hit one of our many outs. The turn with 77K in it comes the 7 of hearts. That's 2 pair. Now we have 2 pair with the ace kicker, obviously. So we counterfeit him, which is pretty nice. We don't even need one of our diamond outs anymore, as long as the 6 does not come on the river. The river comes a 4 of spades, so we get the double up there, and we're up to 77K with the counterfeit.
Me too.
We now have 60K in our stack at the 1500 3K blind level. We look down at ace-9 offsuit from the small blind. Middle position player limps, the cutoff raises to 6K. I call, and now the middle position player also calls. Going 3 ways to the flop here with 21K in the pot, which comes 10-9-3, giving us second pair with an ace kicker. Pretty good flop for us. I mean, obviously we'd rather have top pair, but we're not going anywhere if someone decides to bet here, at least for one street. Checks to the cutoff, who's the initial raiser, and they bet 6K, and both of us call here. Obviously, I said I'm not going anywhere. Gotta stick to that. We're going to the turn. Still 3 ways with around 40K in the pot, which comes a 3. So now it checks to the cutoff, who bets 12K now into 40K. And at this point, I think they're representing overpairs, or maybe an ace-king, ace-queen, maybe some type of backdoor draw like a flush or a straight kind of draw. But given that they raise pre-flop, I think that it's more ace-king, ace-queen, or an overpair. So when they bet 12K here, I'm going to call again though one more time and just see what's going on. Obviously the 3 paired, so we still have second pair here. We technically have 2 pair with an ace. We put in the call, and the other person folds. The river heads up with 63K in it, comes a 7 now. So we still have second pair, although that does bring in some straight draws like 8-6 or 8-jack, although I do not think that this particular player would have either of those combinations in their range, considering they raised pre-flop. But it's concerning when the cutoff bets 12K again here. Now it's into 63K as opposed to 12 into 39 on the turn. I am in the tank here. I obviously think that it's fine to fold here, considering they raised pre and then bet all 3 streets. That's not what I did though. I decided to tank call here. You gotta have chips to win a tournament, and I think second pair is good here. I don't know, maybe 2 out of 10 times I put in the call here. I think it's interesting, but I call, and she shows pocket 8s. So that's one of the hands that we do beat. Would not have pegged this player as someone who would triple barrel with pocket 8s, but that is what happened. We're going to take that 87K pot and go right on to the next hand. We make it to the second break with 106K in our stack. Loving life at this point, obviously. We win a hand with pocket aces. What's not to like about that either? And we pick up the action in this next hand here. Got 81K in our stack at the 3K, 6K blind level. We're in middle position with the lovely ace-king suited, the big slick. Under the gun limps, I raise it up to 21K here. The big blind calls and the under the gun position calls. So we're going 3 ways to the flop here with 63K in it, which comes absolute money. I mean, what do you think it's gonna come? King, king, 5. There's not even 2 of the same kind of suit there, so that's even better for us. And now, if it couldn't get any better, the big blind now declares that he's all in, basically giving us his entire stack here. The under the gun position player folds, and I snap call. He had me covered, so this was for my tournament life. I put in my 54K, he had me covered. Big blind shows pocket 6s, okay. Not even going to try to give you guys an explanation for that. I guess maybe he thought he was good and he didn't want a queen or jack or an ace to come, putting me on one of those kind of combination of hands. The turn with 174K in it comes, we need to fade a 6 here. This is a very good situation for us. Comes the queen of hearts, and the river comes the 5 of clubs, and we scoop, and we are up to almost 200K in our stack. With 175K in our stack now with the 3K, 6K blind level, we look down at 6-8 offsuit from the small blind. 2 limps to me, I complete, and the big blind checks. Pretty standard, I think. We're gonna want to be completing here in the small blind with a lot of our hands, except for 7 deuce and those kind of crappy ones. But 6-8 I think is fine as long as you think the big blind isn't raising a ton of the time. 4 ways to the flop with 24K in it, which comes 8 of clubs, deuce of hearts, deuce of clubs. I lead out here. I think that my hand is pretty good and we need protection against any card above an 8, obviously. I bet 10K into 24K, a little bit less than half pot, somewhere around 40%. Middle position player now min raises me to 20K, which I find strange, but I'm not going anywhere for that price, just 10 more, 1,000 to call, so I do. Turn with 64K in it comes the 6 of spades. So that gives us 2 pair, even though we did already have 2 pair. We still are losing to an overpair if someone decided to play it this way. So when he goes all in for 27k, I'm not really going anywhere. I have a lot of chips. I can afford to gamble here, even though I think a lot of the times I do have the best hand unless we're losing to an overpair or something like that. So I snap call and he shows ace deuce of spades. So he flopped trips. Just pretty unfortunate for us. I think that's a cooler. We're in the small blind. We're obviously going to have an 8 there a lot of the time. He could have an overpair, which we're losing to as well. So I think we should have considered it a little bit longer on the turn instead of just snap calling, but that's what we do. We snap call and we're going to need help on the river. The river comes the queen of hearts, which is no help for us. He scoops a 118k pot.
16.
115k now in our stack at the 5k, 10k blind level. We look down at ace 10 of diamonds from the cutoff. Folds to me, I raise it up to 27k. We only get called by the button. Heads up to the flop with 69s. I'm gonna repeat that, 69k in the pot. Comes 7, 5, 8 with 1 diamond. So we have some backdoor draws, some backdoor flush and straight draws. Nothing really too massive, but nothing to complain about at the same time. Flop goes check, check. I don't really see a point in betting here. I think that the button's range here is gonna hit this pretty hard with pair and straight draws, 2 pairs. Or just straight draw type hands. So yeah, we're gonna go check check here on the flop. Turn with 69k in it. 69k again. Comes the 4 of diamonds. I check, he bets 20k here, and now I think we have a decision. Obviously when we check it over to him here, I think that leads us to the option of check raising. We obviously picked up the flush draw with this 4 of diamonds on the turn, considering we have 2 diamonds in our hand. So I think a lead is fine in this position, but when we check it over to him here now, I think a 20 into 69k bet is kind of weak. So if we can get him to fold here, that's a win right away. If not, we have a lot of outs to hit our hand. So I'm just gonna raise here and I shove for 88k total, so 68k more, and he snap folds. Yo! So I think that's exactly what we wanted to have happen there. We wanted a fold, we wanted to take the dead money. In a tournament, it's always good just to take the 100% route, which is just a fold. Obviously, if we get called there, we're gonna have a lot of outs to continue. And I think he's stabbing there a lot of the time when he gets checked to him twice there after us raising pre-flop. So when we shove there, he obviously can't call with any hand that isn't at least a pair, which he doesn't. And we're gonna go on to the next hand. Got 153k now at the 8k, 16k blind level. And we end up losing with ace jack of hearts versus ace 4 offsuit and around a 60k pot when he turns a 4 and we don't improve. So that's just unfortunate there. We're gonna have to win those. At this point, there's 13 people left, and we're at the 3rd break with around 135k in our stack. A bunch of shoving and folding that I didn't capture on camera because it happens really fast when you're, at these 6 and 5 people left at the table kind of situations.
You're one of the 9. Awesome.
We ended up losing a player right before we got to the final table. So at 9 people, the table discussed a chop, and I had bottom third in chips. I had 150k, and a lot of people had over 300k. So I'd have to double up just to be back in it. So I obliged with the chop. I understand that chopping isn't the best situation in big tournaments when a lot of the money is in the top like 3 to 5. But in these smaller tournaments, I mean, if I can in a couple hours book a $400 to $500 win, with considering that we had bottom third, I think that's a pretty fine result. So I ended up chopping. I bought in for 170, added on for the additional $20, which is 25k in chips. So we're in for 190. We cashed out for 678, which was a direct chop with those 9 people left. So I profited $488 in a little bit less than 5 hours. Over 100 an hour, can't complain about that. 2 out of 3 tournaments this weekend I cashed in, so I made around 1,700 this weekend in like 15 hours. Over 100 an hour for those 3. I'm pretty happy about that. If you guys like this video, be sure to smash the like button, leave a comment down below, and if you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing here? I'm just kidding, hit the subscribe button too. Once again, sorry to those Niners fans. I liked your guys' team, I liked your defense. Coming from a Chicago fan, I appreciate defense first. I wish you could have beaten Patrick Mahomes. Just kidding, that's his brother. Better luck next year, and I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, good luck on the tables. Peace! Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Click my head below to subscribe and stay in the loop. See you next time.